about my temper or habit, because I found that I one of person or of people who only give the others one chance only. Not being able to give another chance, in spite of that, I am forget quickly, and I'm forgiver people. I always wanted to be able to change this habit, but I discovered that I will never be able to change it.
Because it's the way you are. That's really. And do you feel satisfied even if you feel hurt, if you feel disappointed by people? For example, you put trust in people out of your good heart. That's what I understood. And but you feel it's okay, right?
Yeah, I feel it's okay. I can deal with them, but from inside my heart, I can't deal. Even can't deal with them. If I was text them a message, I can't do it. Text for them like before. I stopped doing anything related to connect with these people. Actually,
go ahead.
If I meet them or they called me or text me, it's okay for me. My door is open.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think we are similar in this point, because emotionally we are similar. Like, because for example, we give everything without any barrier. Like, I know it's a mistake, for example, because sometimes you need to create a barrier, because not everyone is willing to accept the way you are. And especially what we call it like stream of emotions. Do you know stream? The stream of emotions that flow. And not everybody is willing to accept or digest this flow, so you step back. That's what's happening with you, right?
Yep, sometimes.
And you feel disappointed because nobody is willing to respond or to reflect the emotional and the secret of you. You know, like some people think, oh, I don't want that. You know, like that's too much for me. But I want to ask you a question. Have you been able to find someone who is willing to accept the way you are?
I have my sister. She is in Jordan. She is very close to me, and she always accepting me.
Wow, family comes first. Yeah, that's my friend told me. The only one who is like willing to accept you the way you are is your mother or your family. And no one else, no matter what. Do you understand? If you're lucky enough, maybe you can find. But even though if you didn't find, still family comes first. Well, thank you very much for sharing this with me, Ms. Buthaina. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's go with Mr. Sabil. So the same thing. If you prepared an oration about using have been able to, wasn't able to, go ahead.
When I was in high school, I first started reading. Well, it was in middle school, and then I had this passion for writing and stuff. So I started writing some short stories and stuff, because I was good at it. I was good at making up stories, and like I have a good imagination. And then I had that friend in high school. We started writing together. I was able to be better at writing because she gave me some new ideas. She was just like me. She has the same passion to writing. So we were happy writing together. Like, it was so good, you know, to have the same person as you. It thinks the same way. It was fun. And then we kind of stopped writing because we couldn't be able. Is it correct? To proceed writing because it was
we weren't. Wait,
it was too hard. You know.
So you weren't able to. Very good.
Yes.
Could you repeat? We weren't able. After we weren't able. Could you repeat?
We weren't able to proceed with writing because high school was too much for us. Too much pressure. Too much exams, and it was back at the time we had you know, so much strict teachers and stuff, and it's faded away but still we had that passion. It was fun. We had some fun time, and that's it.
I want to ask you a few questions if you're willing to, if you accept.
Sure.
Do you have a version of your short stories? Like, for example, you've written some short stories. Do you still, you know, like, are still there?
No.
Oh, do you still? Okay. Do you remember one of the short stories? Like, do you remember, like, when you were in the high school?
I had that notebook. I gave it to my friend before graduation. So this is why I don't have any with me.
Oh,
no, I don't remember.
What about that friend?
Yeah.
Does she still have it?
I don't know. We stopped communicating, unfortunately.
Well, if you do remember the plot of your short story, maybe you can rewrite it again.
It's not easy, you know, because writing is, you know, it's not easy at all. It needs time, it needs focus, and I don't have much focus to put on it.
So it's better to waste that talent, right?
It's not like wasting. We had fun. It was good for us, and it made us learn how to read better books and find more passion about reading.
How about this? I'm willing to help you as much as possible, to give you ideas, because you are an idea girl. You love good ideas, right?
Sure.
Okay. Now, I'm not telling you to write it. Okay, it's up to you. You know, it's up to your time management. It's up to your pressure. For example, like you know, nobody is in your shoes. That's why nobody can judge. I can't judge you. You understand? But maybe I'm willing to give you a piece of advice. Sorry. So what I'm saying is, if you are willing to, maybe you can share with us, with Miss Buthaina. Not now, whenever you are ready. If you do remember the short story, if you do remember the plot, the hero, the protagonist, anything related to that short story, share it with us. Do you know why? Because that passion will renew. That's what I'm saying, because we are willing to listen. Believe me.
Thank you.
We are willing to listen because we are you. I'm not your friend, but I'm your teacher. And my job is to listen to you. And I think Miss Buthaina could be a good friend to you. She's an amazing person.
She's so sweet.
Yeah, she is. She's
Thank you so much.
So yeah, to find good audience who are willing to listen to you. That's the best thing. So we are willing to listen.
Well, thank you. Inshallah, I will try to.
Inshallah, we are expecting. So anyway, thank you very much for your beautiful assignments and not forgetting what I told you. So by the way, I'm gonna share books with you today, inshallah, related to writing. Okay, so they are on a professional level, IELTS, TOEFL, and sometimes SAT. Most of these books revolve around how to improve your writing also. Because not also writing, for Buthaina, for example, she wants to improve her conversation, but you can't improve your conversation without having like a presentable set of vocabulary, right? So through writing, you can improve also your speaking. So I'm gonna share them with you, inshallah, tonight, as well as for the recording of this class. And also Ms. Jihan, if she is listening, she can get benefits from them. Today, need Ms. Sabil to begin reading page 36. We stopped at page 36. And go ahead and read his English, but he can speak 11 languages.
Okay. Alex Rowling has been named the UK's most multilingual student in a competition run by a dictionary publisher.
Dictionary.
Dictionary publisher. the German and Russian student from London who is only 20 years old can speak 11 languages fluently. In a video for the BBC News website, he demonstrated his skills by speaking in all of them, changing quickly from one to another. Rowling said that winning the competition was a bit of a shock. He explained, "I saw the competition advertised, and I heard something about a free iPad. I never imagined that it would generate this amount of media attention."
Very good, well done. For the second paragraph, I want Ms. Buthena to read it.
As a child, Rowling's mother, Rowling's mother, who is half Greek, used to speak to him in English, Greek, and French, and he often visited his family in Greece. He said that he has always been interested in languages. He said that he has always been interested in languages. Again, my dad worked in Japan for 4 years, and I was always frustrated that I couldn't speak to the kids because for the language barrier. After visiting Holland at the age of 14, he decided to learn Dutch with CDs and books. When I went back, I could talk to people. It was great.
Very good. Well done. We will continue with Ms. Salsabil reading the third paragraph.
Okay. He taught himself many of languages with Teach Yourself books, but also by watching films, listening to music, and traveling to the countries themselves. Of all the languages he speaks, Rowling says that Russian, which he has been learning for a year and a half, is the hardest. He said there seem to be more exceptions than rules. He added, "I especially like Greek because I think it's beautiful, and because of my mother. I have strong personal link to the country and to the language."
Very good. Finally, I need Ms. Buthena to read the final paragraph.
Everyone should learn languages, especially if they travel abroad. If you if you make the effort to learn even the most basic phrases, whether you go, it instantly shows the person you are speaking to that you respect their culture. Going around speaking English loudly and getting frustrated at people, it's tactless and rude. The next language Rowling's hopes to learn is Arabic, but only once I finished my degree and got some more time on my hands. For now, I need to concentrate to my German and Russian, so I can prepare for my finals.
Very good. For example, now I know I don't have the audio. So reflexive, today we are going to talk about reflexive pronouns. Reflexive, from reflection. For example, if you see yourself in the mirror, you see your reflection, right? Like in the lake also. That reminds me of a story from Greek mythology. Who is interested in Greek mythology?
Much.
Do you know the question is, who is interested in Greek mythology? No one?
For me, not too much.
Not too much. What about you, Mr. Sabil?
No.
You know, for example, I remember I'm interested in Greek mythology because of God of War. the game I told you about. And that is the benefit of video games, that you are introduced to the world of mythologies, for example. And about reflection, have you heard of the word narcissistic? Have you heard of the word narcissistic?
I can't hear because you're lagging.
Oh yeah,
yeah, maybe it's from
the connection. I will repeat. Have you heard of the word narcissistic? Narcissistic.
Narcissistic, like
in Arabic, it's even similar in Arabic. Narcissistic, narcissi. Exact, narcissi. What does it mean? Narcissistic in English. It's an adjective. If somebody is narcissistic, what does that mean?
Think you're better than everyone else?
No, but in kinda he is in love with himself. Like he is so vain, and he put himself first before anyone else. This is what is narcissism. Narcissism and narcissistic person. Actually, it's taken from Greek mythology. How? And they added it up to the dictionary to explain that situation. And it's a mental disease, actually, and psychological disease. And the story goes like this. There was a man, a guy, he called Narcissus, from the word Narcissus, narcissistic, narcissism. So Narcissus was so handsome, like incredibly handsome. And gods decided to play a game with him. So they sent him Aphrodite. You know Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty. So he was face to face with Aphrodite. You know that, if you remember that story with Joseph, Yusuf alayhi salam, it is similar. It is similar when you find somebody who is like so beautiful, and then the story from Islam. Joseph rejected her, right? Yeah. Rejected her, but for Narcissus, he rejected her out of not worshiping God, not because he actually is afraid of God. No, he rejected her because he is so vain and he's so selfish, and he's so he loves himself. So after that, after rejecting Aphrodite, God decided to punish Narcissus. How? He went to the forest and he went to a lake, and he saw his reflection on the lake. So, and when he saw his reflection, he saw, oh my God, who's that person? He fell in love with the person with the reflection, not knowing that the reflection is the same person, and because of his stupidity. That's why everyone who is so beautiful has some stupidity. I'm so sorry. It's not a rule here. So he drowned himself to the lake and he killed himself. Well, I hope you enjoyed the story. Yeah. So that's the story of narcissism. Okay, reflexive pronouns, for example, they are so easy. So for example, you take the subject pronouns. What are the subject pronouns, Mr. Sabi?
I don't know.
I, he, she, it. Okay, subject pronouns, you, we, and they. Okay, reflexive pronouns, you need to memorize the subject pronouns before understanding. So I, what is the reflexive pronoun of I?
I am.
Myself. It's myself. He, himself. She, herself. It, itself. You, yourself or yourselves. And we, ourselves. And they, themselves. So it's very easy. That's why you need to see the reflection, because they reflect. So to be able to do it, I want Mr. Sabil to put the correct, and by the way, it's very easy, follow the closest pronoun and reflect it. So number one, go ahead, Mr. Sabil.
I always test new vocabulary. It's good way to remember. Test myself.
Very good. I always test myself. Number 2, Miss Buthaina.
My uncle built the house himself. It took him 3 years.
Very good. And number 3, Miss Salsabil.
This light is automatic. I turn it. It turns itself on.
Very good. On and off. Very good. And number 4, Miss Buthaina.
Did you fix the computer itself? Well done.
Be careful. As I told you, check the closest pronoun.
Did you fix the computer? Computer, it's related to it.
No, but as I told you, you need to check for exactly. Exactly. This is the secret. You check the closest pronoun. Very good. Now, number 5, I want from Miss Salsabil to do it.
My sister's so vain. Every time she passes a mirror, she look at herself.
Exactly. And not only, especially as I told you, men in gyms.
Yeah.
they make me laugh, really. It's like they have an attraction, as if like the mirror is calling. Hey, come, sit. Okay. Okay, now we will move to here. I'm gonna not skip, but we will move to something really important about must, have to, and should. And I think you know the differentiation between them, right? The difference between must, have to, and should. Do you know?
Yes.
Okay, now I want here, for example, to read number 1, and go ahead, Ms. Salsabil, and read number 1.
Think what your ringtone says about you. If you're sometimes embarrassed by your ringtone, it's almost certainly the wrong one, and you should change it.
You should. So should it's actually used for advices, to give advice. Sorry, not advices, advice. To give advice. So I want to ask you, Mr. Sabil, what ringtone do you use?
The Apple ringtone, what they call the iPhone.
And
opening.
And you did. How long have you been using it?
I've never changed it.
You never change it. So not to a song, not to something like
you don't have options in iPhone.
Yeah, exactly. Just the Apple one. They are so racist when it comes to programming. Okay, what about your alarm clock? Is it default? Is it default your alarm clock ringtone? Is it default?
Also default.
Also default. Okay, number 2. Thank you, Mr. Sabil. Number 2, Ms. Buthaina.
When in doubt, use silent.
When in doubt.
When in doubt, use silent or vibrate mode. It might surprise your companions when you suddenly answer an invisible silent phone, but at least they won't have to listen to your ringtone.
I want to ask you, Ms. Buthaina, what is your favorite phone mode? Silent, vibrate, or normal?
Vibrate with normal.
Very good. So you don't like the ringtone to just pop out or just to ring. Very good. So you actually, why do you do that?
So I don't know. It's interesting.
Is it related to privacy? Privacy, like you don't want anyone to know that somebody is calling you, or maybe you don't want to feel embarrassed if you are in a situation where your phone just rings.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Number 3, Mr. Sabil.
Take notice of who is around you. make sure your conversation is not disturbing other people. Intimate conversations are never appropriate. Was it
appropriate
in front of others?
Exactly. Intimate. Do you know intimate? What is the definition of intimate?
Like having conversation with your partner.
Exactly. And that's the most disgusting thing. I'm not talking about the act. You can do it whenever you want, but not in front of me. When I'm in a school, it makes me really laugh. I'm not against that. You can't, it's about the etiquette. It's about, okay, you are having an intimate conversation, go do it alone. It's intimate, right? Why should I hear, you know, like this? Anyway, let's move to number 4, and I need from Miss Buthayna. Go ahead.
Number
4. Respect quiet zones.
Yeah, respect quiet zone. You must not use your phone in quiet zones on trains or on hotels. That is the reasons why they exist.
Very good. Number 5, Miss Salsabil.
Never shout. Your phone is not a megaphone. You don't have to shout, and don't shout because you think reception is poor. It won't make any difference.
Does that ring a bell, Miss Salsabil?
What?
Does that ring a bell? Does that remind you of something?
So many people.
Especially Turks.
To be honest, Turks like very respectful on trains or different areas. The problem is with Arabs. I'm sorry.
Exactly. No. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about nationality. You haven't been in Iseniyat, actually. I'm talking about the people in Iseniyat here. Of course, when you go to the Asian side, Turks are so respectful. It's about the area, and. You know, like even Arabs, by the way, like why they shout? And the most funny thing, or the funniest thing, is that we do it actually when we are not listening or not hearing the person who is calling us. And if you are wearing glasses, if they are not hearing well, they took the glasses off to improve their hearing. What's that related to? It makes me really laugh. Anyway, Miss Buthayna, number 6.
People with you deserve more attention than those at the end of a phone.
Exactly.
However, possible, turn off your phone in social situations and meal times, or put it on vibrate if you have to keep your phone on because you are expecting an important call. Apologize in advance.
Very good. Number 7, Miss Salsabil.
Don't carry a phone conversations when you are in the middle of something else. This is especially true if you are in banks, shops, etc. It's insulting not to give the people who are serving you your full attention.
Very good. Number 8, finally. Go ahead, Miss Buthayna.
Think about where you are calling from. Don't make or receive calls in inappropriate places. Put your phone on vibrate in meetings, cinema, etc. If you must take a call in the car, use the hands-free set.
Very good. Now, I think, you know, the vocabulary are really like easy for you. And that's why I want you to to check this article here. And it's going to be like a homework for you tomorrow on page 40. Okay. It's an article. And the homework is C, where you can find words or phrases in the article which mean. Okay, so this is gonna be your homework. Why I gave you this homework? Because I need to move to something else. Inshallah, the books that I'm gonna send, include writing and also extra stuff for you, where you're gonna deal with texts, not complicated, more academic texts, where you can find extra essential, crucial words for you, because I don't want you to keep repeating the same stuff you already know. But the good thing about our class is that I think they increase your fluency, because mostly, if you know, I concentrate mostly on the speaking part. Of course, that's why I need to focus also on the grammar part, and not only the grammar, the writing part, where you're able to write or where you're able to know more vocabulary. So as I said, stay tuned for tonight, because I'm gonna send you the books, inshallah. So, and maybe in this way, maybe I can give you more homeworks. Let's check some grammar here. And I think that it's like revision for most of the things that we've dealt with. So we're gonna do it like quickly as possible, and just to check your information. Number one, Mr. Sabil here. What do you think is the correct option?
I walk to work is healthier than going by car.
A, B, or C?
C.
C. Number two, go ahead, Miss Buthaina.
Cycling isn't as dangerous as people think.
Very good. Number three, Mr. Sabil.
C. This is the worst time of the day for traffic jams.
Number four, Miss Buthaina.
My wife is a much safer driver than me.
By the way, in this situation, you have to say than I.
Then I.
I think it's more grammatical here. Me or I, but I is more grammatical. What about number five, Mr. Sabil?
What a beautiful day.
What a beautiful day. Very good. Number six.
I never drink coffee after a dinner.
Not a dinner. If you remember, with dinner, breakfast, and lunch, we don't use articles. Not that. No articles. Zero. So after dinner. Zero, yes. Zero articles after dinner. Very good.
Yeah,
number seven. No problem. Okay. Number seven, Mr. Sabil.
Women, which is B, are usually good language learners.
Very good. Now, number eight, Miss Buthaina.
We've decided to visit UK next summer.
Nice. Number 10, Mr. Sabil, sorry.
We won't be able to come to the party.
Very good. C. Number 10, Buthaina.
My mother has never.
No, number 10, I think.
No, okay. When he was 5, he was able already swim.
No, again.
When he was 5, he could already swim.
He could already swim. Very good. Very good. Yeah. He could already swim. Number 11, Miss Sabil.
My mother has never been able to cook well.
Very good. Number 12.
Entrance is free. You don't have to pay anything.
Very good. Number 13.
I will have to work harder if I want to pass.
Very good. Very good. Number 14.
I don't think I should have to dessert. I've already eaten too much.
Be careful here, because there is no necessity. When there is no necessity, exactly. When there is no necessity of things, no, it's not important. You use don't have to or have to. I don't think I have to have a dessert. Number 15, finally, Miss Sabil.
You switch on your phone. You mustn't switch on your phone.
Very good. Yes, you mustn't, exactly, because it's a rule. If you remember, we discussed some of the propositions here. So Miss Buthaina, number 1, you have to use here a proposition.
We arrived Bergu at 5:30. We arrived at.
But be careful. Do you think Prague is a location or a city?
It's a city.
So what do you use here with cities? In or at?
In.
In, exactly. Very good. So in. Number 2, Miss Sensebi.
I apologize for being late.
Nice, well done. Number 3, Miss Buthena.
I'm not very keen to horror films.
Be careful because we discussed this, if you remember. Keen on to horror films. Horror films. Yes, what is? Do you watch horror films, Miss Buthena?
Before, yes. Now it's rarely to watch any films or a movie, actually.
What do you think is the most horrifying horror film you've ever watched? Do you remember?
Sorry, no.
No, you don't remember. What about you, Miss Sensebi? Are you keen on horror films?
I don't like watching horror films, but I watched once that horror movie with my siblings. It was the worst.
Which
I
is?
forgot its name.
What is it?
Wait, I don't know. It's about Annabella and the nun, and it's
the Conjuring sequence. Yeah. It was wonderful. The first one was good, but then the idea became kinda like I don't know.
Yeah, we watched the first one, and that's it. I didn't see anything else. It was horrifying.
Yeah, for me, I'm not keen on horror movies as well, but there is one particular movie that shivers me. Do you understand shiver? The word shiver?
Yes.
It gives me that feeling, and sometimes sometimes really, by the way, I watched it twice. I don't know why I watched it for the second time, because that movie is brilliant. It's not about okay, showing you something like, oh, a horrifying scene in front of you. No, the idea is horrifying, the idea itself. And the movie, it's called The Exorcism of Emily Rose. And what is scary is that by the end of the movie, this movie was inspired by true events. So you go online to Google to see that it happened. So The Exorcism of Emily Rose always gives me shivers. I don't know why. Well, let's go with the second one, with the next one, with Miss I think Miss Buthena. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. My son is good at speaking languages.
Very good. And number 5, Miss Sensebi?
This song reminds me of my holiday.
Very good. I think we need to stop here, right here, because I think you know everything here. So for this, as I told you, we're gonna have tomorrow, inshallah, writing lesson, okay, where we're gonna deal with more complicated texts. And let's see if you are willing to. Sometimes you think, oh, or something like that. Okay, we still have time for some reading. Ms. Sensebi, are you ready?
Yes.
Go ahead, turn it off. Here, I wanted to read and stop when I tell you.
Something historic happened at the New York Philharmonic. Philharmonic on the evening of 10 January 2012, about an hour into Mahler's Ninth Symphony. Symphony during the beautiful fourth movement. An audience member's cell phone loudly rang and rang again. It was the kind of marimba riff we've all heard on the street from a stranger's phone. From my seat in row L, I could see the horrified discomfort of the other audience members from their body language. We all wondered whether the conductor Alan Gilbert would react, and how suddenly there was silence. I think I skipped. Oh no, I didn't. What is it? The orchestra.
The orchestra.
The orchestra had stopped playing. Mr. Gilbert and had hustled the performers, and he turned to the man who was seated in the front row and said, "Are you going to turn it off? Will you do that?"
Continue. Oh, thank you. Thank you, by the way. Very good. Halted. It's halted the performance, like stopped the performance.
There was some discussion.
No, that's yeah. Continue these two lines, please. There was some discussion.
There was some discussion between the computer and the cell phone owner, but we couldn't hear it.
Very good.
And every Fisher. Should I carry on?
No, I think Miss Buthaina's turn. But well done. Good reading. Good reading. Let's move to Miss Buthaina here. Follow up. In the Avery Fisher Hall.
In the Avery Fisher Hall, many members of the audience stood and demanded that the man leave the hall. They were so furious that I could have imagined them dragging him from his seat on to the stage, tying him to a stake and setting him alight. When the power of bottom on the man's phone had finally been located and put to use, Mr. Gilbert turned to the audience. Usually when there is a disturbance like this, it's best to ignore it, he said, but this time I could not allow it. The audience is applauded as if Mahler himself, the orchestra's conductor from 1909 to 1911, had suddenly been resurrected.
Resurrected. Do you know resurrected? What's the meaning of resurrected?
I'm not sure.
Do you know the resurrection day, judgment day, Yom al-Qiyamah? So resurrection means like risen from the dead. So resurrected.
Resurrected on stage. Mr. Gilbert and neither smiled nor acknowledged the cheers. The cheers. Instead, he turned to the orchestra's instructing the players to resume Serval's bar back from the point at which he had stopped the performance just before he raised his baton and turned again to the audience and said, this time with a smile, "We'll start again." A few seconds later, the fourth movement resumed. Mr. Gilbert's brave decision, yes, a brave decision that night brought new music to the
Philharmonic. Very good. Now I want to ask you a few questions. And who is interested in classical music?
Classical music, I think Mr. Gilbert.
No, you, Miss Buthaina or Miss Sabil. Who is interested in classical music?
Classical, me.
Really?
I like classical music, yeah.
Who is your favorite composer? I think you told me Beethoven.
Yeah, Beethoven, but I have Fairuz also in Arabic.
Yeah,
I like
she is a wonder. What about you, Mr. Sabil?
My taste in music is so random, so I listen to different stuff.
I'm asking you if you are interested in classical music.
Some of them.
You don't have any particular piece, like for example, like we have heard of. I think you've heard of Vivaldi, the Four Seasons, for example, or the Ninth Symphony by Beethoven, or Moon Sonata by Beethoven as well. But do you remember any like pieces like where you feel like, oh, I like that?
No, to be honest, I randomly listen to stuff.
Well, for that, I think yesterday I told you about the writer. Do you remember him? Do you remember the writer I told you about, the book? I think, yes, yesterday I suggested a book for you to read. Do you remember? Thank you, Miss
I forgot the name.
Thank you, Miss Buthaina. No, Miss Buthaina remembered it. The Stranger.
Oh, yeah.
The Stranger. Today, I have another suggestion, if you are willing to. Since I was a child, I was interested in classical music, and somehow my mother told me, you're crazy. Why you keep listening for 2 hours? I was like, my mom, it helps me to sleep. So later on, I was interested in Beethoven. And because I think not everybody maybe know who is Beethoven or who was Beethoven. But recently, I didn't know Beethoven so well until I watched a movie. It's called A Clockwork Orange. I think, have you heard of the movie? A Clockwork Orange. And by the way, sometimes I feel scared not to suggest this movie because it's so violent, and the movie is so psychological. It's not for kids. I'm not talking about the scenes. It's not for normal minds. It was directed by Stanley Kubrick. Do you know Stanley Kubrick? The one who directed The Shining, if you know the movie. Jack Nicholson, The Shining. The one who directed The Odyssey. And also many movies. So Stanley Kubrick in movies, he is something different. For example, all his movies are complicated, revolves about philosophical ideas. So, but the good thing about this movie, like I became more interested in Beethoven because you have some Beethoven ideas in the movie. So whenever you have time, under your responsibility, watch A Clockwork Orange. Okay, thank you very much for this, and let's move to some. I think we have 4 minutes left, and I want to ask a few questions. And the first question I want to ask, Ms. Buthaina. The thing I want to ask is number 3. I want you, whenever you have the time, to talk about typical stereotypes about men and women, and say if you think they are true. Think about it if you want. You know, typical stereotypes. If you want, maybe we can delay it for tomorrow if you want, like as a speaking activity. Okay, Miss Buthaina. Hello. Anybody hear me?
She's out.
I think she's out. Oh, or maybe she's disconnected. Okay, for tomorrow, don't forget that you have a homework on page, as I said, page 40C, 40C. And also we have a speaking homework, which is, I asked Miss Buthaina to do number 3, where she's gonna talk about the typical stereotypes about men and women. And for you, Mr. Sabil, I want you to take number 5 for tomorrow as well, to present it in front of your classmates. And I want you to talk about things which are or aren't good manners in your country, Libya. If you are staying with someone as a guest, and what do you think is the right thing to do? Maybe you can speak generally about what is considered to be a good manner or what is considered to be a bad manner regarding to Libya, your culture, for example. So is it clear?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much. Now, I think that's it. Miss Buthaina's left. So there is a recording. No worries. I will send the recording and the books. And thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.